All right. Hello and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Flame, and welcome to the Master Motivation Podcast on this Wednesday, special Wednesday, September 21st. And my guest today is Mr. Mike Krause. Coach Krause is considered one of the greatest and regarded by most as the best youth wrestling coaches in the nation. His unique coaching techniques, along with his contagious positive mindset, will help accelerate your wrestler's abilities on and off the mat. The Firebird Army membership is building up with motivational videos along with actual practices and camps with Coach Krause, working with young wrestlers of all levels. Your wrestlers will feel right at home watching other youth wrestlers working on the same concepts they are. Youth coaches will also benefit greatly by actually seeing coaching techniques working on youth wrestlers Coach Krause has worked with and has also just met. I can't do the ending, the get back and bring the heat. So you got to give me the energy on that one.
Give the bring the heat. You bet. That's
Yeah,
I love it. Hey, I love it. Hey, by the way, my mom wrote that, so it's kind of biased. Thanks,
it's all good.
I appreciate it. That's the thing too. One thing you said in that quote though that really does hit home with me is you actually see me coaching during practice. It's not like I see a lot of these high level coaches doing techniques and like, hi, I'm so and so, and this is a double leg takedown, and it's just so dry and so boring. I want to see these coaches actually mentor their wrestlers. I want to see them in the room actually coaching. That's what I want to see.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I love that. As a martial artist myself, I agree with the same concept of being out on the mat and on the floor, more action, less talking, and get to
Right.
work, right?
Yeah.
This is a unique opportunity for the both of us. We talked about this pre interview. I had the pleasure of interviewing Michael Caro, who then introduced me to Frank Jasper. And then
Thank
Frank
you.
Jasper introduces me to you. And here we are. I don't know if you know this. We didn't talk about this, but my son is a high school wrestler.
Okay.
Potentially looking at the college level. He's been wrestling for 4 or 5 years,
Nice.
and with the martial arts, it's just to me they go hand in hand. The mindset, I think, is
Oh,
what really what goes hand in hand.
100%. Jiu-jitsu is making such a huge splash the last decade or so. The last 5 years has been huge. I see a lot of combo athletes in wrestling, and it's kind of like freestyle wrestling helps folk style wrestling. Jiu-jitsu, in many ways, helps wrestling, period. Again, mindset and not necessarily all the moves, although I have seen little kids hit bar arms in wrestling. I'm like, whoa, 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 easy. But yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Well, listen, guys, if you're watching here live and you want to ask any questions while we're talking to Coach Krause, please drop your questions. Just shoot us a quick hello. Share this, tag your friends, and let's just chat for the next 45 minutes or so. So, Coach, can you tell us just a little bit more about your background as a young athlete, kind of growing up in the sport?
Well, here's the deal. I grew up. Okay, I graduated high school '87, so that tells you where I grew up. I didn't grow up wrestling. I mean, Zeke Jones, one of the best wrestlers in the nation, was a couple years older than me in Michigan, and he was a youth wrestler. But there was no internet, of course, so wrestling was kind of I didn't know it existed actually. I was a tough little nut kid. I was a good kid, but I did have to impose my will on a few kids in the neighborhood. So I had the fighter in me. And when I went to eighth grade, we had the old wrestling class where you take your shirts off and you're in your jeans and you just learn half Nelson and you wrestle a little bit. And I was pretty good at that, but I didn't think, well, this is a sport. So I got to high school. I played football. I was 112 pounds. And everyone's like, hey, well, you got to wrestle, Krause. You got to wrestle. And I didn't even think that was a real sport. And it
Hmm.
was about 2 weeks into the season. My buddy Scott Morocco kept saying, you got to wrestle, Krause. You got to wrestle. And I was like, are you serious, man? And his quote to me was, even if you suck, you still get muscles. And I was like, I can use the muscles. So I was after school, I was at a National Honor Society meeting because I had a 4.2 grade point average, and I was hanging out watching the practice. And my coach Mike Abdo, sees me and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And this guy's like, he's a drill sergeant. Go figure. He was like, "Hey, get in here." I said, "Whoa, I'm just watching, man. I'm just watching." He goes, "Get in here." I said, "Well, I'm playing baseball." He said, "Baseball's next season." And at that moment, that moment right there was a defining moment in my life. I said, okay, buddy. I went down and got my gym clothes on, came back up, and just got totally annihilated for 2 hours. And an average kid, an average person would have never came back. I was in the locker room. Everyone's like, Krause, you wrestling? Krause, you wrestling? I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe. I don't think so. But I was so pissed that they didn't slow it down. And everyone I got train wrecked. I didn't know any moves. I didn't know what we're doing. but I did love I love the fight. I love the fight. I love, like, two fights, and not street fight. You know what I'm saying? The fight. But so I went home that night. And I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I need a pair of wrestling shoes." She goes, "Oh, that's nice." I go, "Why is that?" I said, "I want to be a wrestler, Mom," and that's it.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah,
So no youth wrestling experience, not until you got into
baseball,
high school.
baseball, football. That's it.
Wow, cool. Well, hey, we got someone on Facebook, and I apologize, guys. Sometimes on StreamYard, we don't see the name of the person commenting in some of the groups. So, someone saying, "What's up, fellas?" and "What's up to you?" I'd love to know who that is. Drop your name and let us know who you are and who's out there watching. And once again, guys, if you have any questions for Coach Krause, please drop those questions, whether it's wrestling related or not, because you started talking about you love the fight, right? You
Yeah.
love the fight. Where does that come from? I mean, you said you had to take care of a couple things as a younger kid. So did you grow up in a tough neighborhood? Did you grow up in an area that you had to fight? Like, where'd that come from?
Not really. I mean, it's funny you say that, because I mean, the times I did fight, the kids were being bullies. The kids are punking
Mm,
us out. The skinny little dude. I had my little beginner muscle package going on, but I was like a skinny little nothing. But a couple times, like, kids in the neighborhood were being real jerks, and I had enough, and I just snapped. I snapped, and just said, gave him the throttle. Told him to
yeah.
settle down, man. And I had that in me. So I'm not. I guess the whole fear of flight or fight. I don't have the flight. I got the fight in me. So I mean, that's something I was born with. I think, obviously, because
Yeah.
I have it in me, and I had to use it.
Like the Ralphie moment in A Christmas Story, right?
Right? Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
gets on top of him and goes to town, right? Yeah, it's Mike Caro who's watching. Hey, Mike, thanks for Mike
Yeah.
has spawned now a couple extra interviews here now, which is amazing. I love that this is turning out to we get to highlight some great coaches all over the country. So I'm really happy to have you on here. And Mike, thanks for the opportunity to
I
set us
appreciate.
all up. So, talk about wrestling in high school, and from wrestling, you went on and wrestled some more, and talk about
Yeah.
that experience.
Thing, and I posted my one of my pictures of high school the other day on Facebook, and that was me shaking my coach's hand after a match. And I said I started in ninth grade, and nowadays with the internet, kids are getting so much better, faster at all levels, anything, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, baseball, you name it, man. I mean, back when I was wrestling in college, 88 to 92, we had to actually get VHSs of people doing different techniques and moves across the nation. That's how we learn new things. So, but
Right.
nowadays the internet is at your fingertips. So, I mean, yeah. So, where's I going with this? Oh yeah, okay. Well, I put on high school. You still can start in high school. You still can start in ninth grade and have success. Now, I started in ninth grade. I'm a total go getter. I had some success my freshman year, but in the summer, I didn't do hardly anything. Bless my coach's heart. I love Coach Abdo, but he did his thing, and I went my way. And there was no. I mean, I could have done freestyle. I could have kept it going. I could have done extra stuff, but I did one or two camps, and I just waited. But the go-getter in me, I actually, made up a running course in my neighborhood and put up some sweatshirts and made some things happen. But what I'm saying is, I started late. But my point is, you can start in ninth grade and still have success. And sometimes for some people, it's better to start later. Because I mean,
Hmm.
this whole burnout and beat out thing, I mean, I get the burnout, like I call it beat out, but some kids start at age 5 and have super success at 7, super success at 8, and all of a sudden they're kind of doing rinky-dink technique, or they're using too much, muscles over technique, and all of a sudden 7th and 8th grade, the kid that started in 5th grade that's getting better coaching, all of a sudden beats that kid, and guess what? I'm burned out. I've been doing it too long. Well, you've been doing the wrong
Hmm.
technique. You just got beat out. So the point of my story here is that you can start at any age, but if you do the proper techniques and you have fun every year and get better every year, you're not gonna burn out. So I mean, you
Hmm.
start in ninth grade and have success.
So
That's my
what is your advice to young athletes? Again, wrestling or otherwise. Nowadays it seems like if you play baseball, you play baseball year round. If you play football, you're trying to find a league year round. What do you
right, right,
think about that for youth athletes playing year round sports, the
yeah,
same sport all the time?
right. Everyone's different. Every father son, every family bond is different. I've seen like Marky Hall from Penn State. I've known that kid since he's 5 years old, and he was at top of the board forever. And now he's like 23 or 4 or something. He's still killing it. But that's a unique case. I think everyone should play. I mean, again, here I'm giving advice on other people's lives, but I think you should play 2 or 3 sports as a kid, have fun. And the weird thing is, when I was coaching my club, Team Shamrock, for a decade over at Michigan, over Detroit Catholic Central, I'd have kids that would do okay. They're 7. They do pretty well as they're 7. They don't wrestle at all over the summer. Not a lick. They come back for the next year of practice, and there's some kids that do wrestle over the summer, but it's so weird because the kids that didn't do anything step on the mat, and for some reason or another, I think they think they have to impress other wrestlers, or they just feel like they should know they're better. They got better, but not even training. I mean, it was very eye opening. Now, of course, you're going to get better if you train all year long and stuff. But I mean, you don't have to beat it. You don't have to beat it to death. You have to beat it to death all summer long. Take a break. Some of these guys had their kids, wrestling all year long and making weight. And I see them enter high school just emaciated. You got to grow, So this is all my opinion. I think you got to take a few months off and just pig out, beef up, hit the weights, and then slim back down a little bit. Let your body grow. But again, I'm not going to tell anybody how to live their lives. But my personal kids didn't even wrestle, so I think personally, you should play a couple sports, have fun, don't put too much levity on your youth career. Because I always tell kids this: I say, hey, Cale Sanderson, Tom Brands, Dan Gable, John Smith, you're all humongous high level wrestlers, and I say, what they did as youth wrestlers? They're like, no. I said, neither do I.
Right.
Oh, I said, I know it's important to you guys. I'm not saying it's not important. I said, but we're training for high school. We're training for college. We're training for life. All right, so let's just relax. I know you want to win. I want you to win too. When you have a big loss, guess what? Here's the thing. I made this up today. My new club is Firebird over here in Houston, Texas, and we're going to be show-offs. We're going to be such show-offs. We're going to show off when we win, how we say nice match and we don't rub it in. We're going to show off when we lose and we say nice match and don't rub it in. We're going to show off how we can handle ourselves on the mat. That's my new thing.
I love it. Well, and that carries into, our personal and daily lives with any struggle, any challenge, any obstacle, anything that you put in front of yourself, right?
Right. Exactly. Oh my gosh, totally. I tell little kids, I say, listen, man, if you throw a fit on the mat come Monday or Tuesday, the next time you're in the room, and I make them stand up. Hey, Johnny, I heard you were crying. I heard you lost it and you're crying like a baby, not crying like this right here. That's okay. I don't mind. That means you want it so bad it hurts. So, okay, just shake it off. But if you cry like a little baby and throw a fit, come Monday or Tuesday in my club, you got to stand up and talk about it. And kids hate standing up and talking about it. Hey, Joey, stand up. What happened? Well, the kid was, I said, so you're embarrassing our club. You're embarrassing your family. Stop it. And I'm not kidding you, man, Jason. That people are like, oh, Krause, you're shaming them. Well, maybe I am a little bit, but you know what? After about a month, hey, Joe, what happened? Hey, Coach Krause, I lost 9-8 and I didn't cry. Perfect. Clap it up for Johnny, man. That's perfect, buddy. I just changed that kid's attitude by giving him praising is not crying.
Right.
It's amazing.
Sometimes that old school coaching, needs to happen, right?
Telling you, man. I try to. I'm a mixture. I'm a little more. I'm 80% old school, 20% new school. But you're exactly right. I think.
Yeah, I think we still need that.
Sure did.
You mentioned this. You said Team Shamrock.
Yep.
Any relation to Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock?
But I used to go to. I used to work for Cliff Keen Athletic, and I would go to the Tulsa Wow tournaments every year as the Cliff Keen guy. And Ken would be there, and I'd have my Team Shamrock on. I kind of met him a couple times. He thought it was I liked him. I was like, no, we were the Catholic Central Shamrocks, so that was my Team Shamrock.
Oh, nice, very cool. So where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to college and wrestle? And where did you take your career from there?
Gotcha. Okay, well, in high school, I was all state, and that was a big deal to me because there was no banners. There was nobody had ever placed in the state where I came from. In fact, I was so green to wrestling when I first as a freshman. I didn't know when the weight classes were with 98, 105, 112, and I weighed 112. I didn't know if I had to weigh 112 below 112 to be 105, but I didn't know how to make weight. But I didn't even know there was a state tournament. I didn't even know I could be state champ. So once someone told me I could be state champ, I was like, okay, that's probably the goal, right? State champ. And anyway, I took fourth, but I'm really proud of that because there was no existing tradition. I coached multiple times. I coached multiple state champs, multiple time state champs now, and they might take it for granted, but I don't take it for granted. I took fourth. I hold that dear to my heart. But so I had scholarships. I was I'm a smart person. I had like a 3.9 grade point average. I had small scholarships to smaller colleges. My mom and dad are both Sparties, Michigan State. So I got a recruiting trip to Michigan State, but they didn't have any. They said they didn't have any money for me, but I wasn't really. I just wanted to keep wrestling. I wasn't all about the scholarship. I just wanted to keep wrestling. So I walked on basically to Michigan State, earned a tuition scholarship, because I'll tell you what. Here's a mindset. Here's a motivational mindset thing. Me being just all state. I wasn't a blue chipper. Everybody in a D1 program is just an absolute murderer. And I had Brian Smith, the Missouri coach, Roy Hall. We had just everybody was just a blue chip athlete, and I got pounded. My first year was like you don't even feel like you don't. It's like walking in a room full of black belts, and you're a dirty white belt, and nobody likes you. The D1 wrestling, we're not buddies in the room. It's like a fist fight meets hey, easy man, what's going on? And you're wrestling grown men. You're 18, 19, wrestling this 23-year-old dude that just wants to just crush you. So anyway, my point is, I saw 2-time state champs, 3-time state champs, not understand there's going to be a learning curve. We're going to not be able to get off bottom. We're going to get absolutely piss pounded by these guys. They don't like us. This is a war in here. And I knew I embraced that. And I hung in there, got my tuition scholarship, big deal. And I didn't quit. All 4 years I wrestled, and I was varsity in and out of varsity. I was the Big Tens twice, and I'm just really proud of my mental strength, not hanging it up.
Yeah. Well, so now you said this was in the early to mid 90s when you were.
Yeah, 88 to 91. 88, 91 was my college career.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Well, so as you probably saw in my opening clip, I've participated in professional wrestling, which is a completely different ball game, totally different sport altogether, right? But some of the guys that I can remember that were just amazing college wrestlers: Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin. Those guys were just animals, and they had an opportunity from their wrestling career to move on. I mean, Kurt Angle, 96, I believe, 96 gold medal.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Right. And has a heck of a career in professional wrestling. What are your thoughts on professional wrestling? And have you had any experience with anybody kind of moving on like that?
I mean, I don't watch that much, but I tell you what, those guys are athletes, man. I don't care if you like it, you like it. Those stadiums are packed. Those people get nuts. They love it. I mean, I've never been to an event. I'm not against it. I'm not really for it, but I think it's if it's going to pay you multi-million-dollars a year and you're good at it, and those guys get their bodies beat up. You get your body beat up, didn't you?
Oh yes, sir. Absolutely.
They're not faking it. They're getting slammed around. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's basically it's like a comic book, a real life comic book. That's what it is. It's fun watching these characters. These guys are all characters.
How did you transition from a competitor and an athlete to coaching?
Coach, I'll tell you what. It's kind of a funny thing. Since I was a walk-on, I was kind of embraced. I was kind of welcomed by the cool guys, by the blue chippers, and some of these walk-ons at my sophomore and junior and senior year, they weren't. They didn't. They were. And I actually started coaching while I was in college. And my buddy James Richardson used to call all the walk-ons the all Krause team, because I would talk to these guys. I would try to mentor them and say, listen, it's not going to be all rainbows and unicorns here. And it's like high school. These guys are going to torture you, and you're not getting paid to do this, and you're going to miss, and you're going to miss some class here and there. So you got to love this stuff, or it's not worth it. And I told those guys, if you're going to hang it up, do not hang it up during the season. The old cliche, wait till it's over. And so I started mentoring and coaching these guys mentally in college. And then when I got done, I went to my old high school, Livonia Churchill, and I got to admit they were playing around, they're playing games and things, and they weren't being very serious. So I heard there was a couple of good dudes on the opposing team of Stevenson down the road. So I went in there, and I was only 24, and I'm not kidding you. This is one of my proudest things too. From 92 to 99, I was there, and they only had one all-state kid in the history of that program. And when I got done there, me and my Joel Smith and Bob Moreau, we had like 34 all-state kids, 5 state champs, and 2 all-state teams. So I'm telling you right now, Right now, I'll be a little okay. I tell kids in the room I'm cocky. Outside the room I'm humble pie. Right now, I'll be a little cocky. It's coaching. It's high school sports is 85% coaching. I took a bunch of, and these kids are tough, but you don't know they're tough until you coach them.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about coaching? What do you love most about coaching?
I love seeing the things you actually tell them, the physical move, techniques, and the mental aspect actually work. Actually, they buy what you're selling. I'm selling technique. I'm selling I'm selling leadership, but I'm selling intensity, but I'm selling technique too. And when they're buying it, and when I see it go down, I'm like, oh my god, there it was. We just did it. That was it. You just did it. You know? Yeah.
You mentioned the word leadership. How do you find that kids learn those skills of leadership, in the wrestling room that they take with them outside?
I'm glad you asked me. Well, and when I do my practices are a little different. In fact, they're a lot different. Every kid in the room is my assistant coach. So in the heat of Team Shamrock, I get this. I get when you come to one of my practices, you get the full gamut. It's like a huge skit meets programming meets like everything leads to something else. Like when I get there and someone says I'll warm up, I say, oh, I got to warm. I need to warm them up. All my stuff links together. So what I'm saying is that when I tell the kids to bring it in, I say, hold on. I say, when I say bring it in, I'm going to talk softly. I said, when you hear me say bring it in, it's a race. It's a what? It's a race. I said, all around the circle on the line. And no, everybody yells, hustle up, taking me. Everyone yells, hustle up. And so everyone's kneeling down. I'm like, okay. I say, bring it in. And they'll play, go, okay, bring it in. Whoa, go back. And I'll take 2 minutes out of the practice to do this. I said, everybody yells, hustle up, taking me until everyone's kneeling down. And I'm not kidding. When I get I say I got 50 kids in a practice, and 25 of them are buying what I'm selling. They're like, "Sir, hustle up, take a knee, take a knee, take a knee." I'm like, "Time!" One big clap. So they learn when I give a command. They're all
Hmm.
my coaches, and they all say what he says. Like one thing I do too that I learned from Mitch Hancock over at Detroit Catholic Central. There's no resting in my practices. When I blow the whistle, I'm like the referee. And over at DCC, when the referee blows the whistle, whether you're winning or losing, and especially when you're losing, we bounce and breathe, and our body language uh, acts like we're winning. And that's really hard to do. It really is. So when I blow the whistle in practice, that's a cue for everybody in the room to yell bouncing and breathing. So when I get it really going, when I blow the whistle, I was like bouncing and breathing. And I'm like, who's tired? And when I say who's tired, their cue is not me. Who's tired? Not me. Who's tired? Not me. Good. Get in your stance. So my whole practice is just a whole bunch of us yelling back and forth.
Man, I'm getting pumped just listening to how you coach a practice because it's very similar for any of my students or anybody that's ever trained with me. It's a lot of the same stuff that we use in our martial arts school and on the martial arts mat. It's just that energy is what really brings it. And I love the fact that you're talking about leadership and work ethic and everything, all the skills that we obtain, whether it's martial arts, baseball, football, wrestling, whatever it is. Those physical skills are so important and crucial for the sport itself, but all the other attributes that go with that are going to carry them so much further in their life. So
Yes.
I love that you're incorporating that in your camps and in your classes and your practices. So where do you run your camps? Do you run your camps nationally? Do you ever come
Uh,
out to California?
yeah. I've been to California. I've been doing this for about 15, 16 years. And for my first 8 years, I would fly everywhere. And I went to Selma. I went to Yuma. I did a lot of California stuff.
Okay.
It's weird. I've done all 48 states. I have not done Hawaii or Alaska, although they're huge wrestling states. But anyway, but I went to Selma, and Selma are some bangers. You ever been to Selma?
Nope.
Selma
Not
don't play.
yet.
Selma don't play. Hey, Krause, cut Krause, make my kid cry. Okay, I got you. I got you. Coming up. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, just but now for the last I quit coaching my club Team Shamrock 2 years ago because I had this great idea I was going to do during in season camps and clinics during the week. I'm your guest coach for the practice, and it's a
Hmm.
huge hit. I was booked all around the nation, just going from like Ohio, Pennsylvania, just driving through. And on my little
Hmm.
website, I say where I was going to be, and you just book that night, and then you hear to the details, and I show up and I blow up. you know,
Nice, nice.
yeah.
Well, if you're ever out in the California area, would love to meet up and possibly get not just my son, but I have a lot of my students that we really encourage to
Right.
wrestle at the high school level, especially my black belts, because they already have a real good understanding of their body. They got a good work ethic. They're respectful, and they can go to work. So I'm always looking for opportunities for them. My son got a chance to go down to San Diego, basically with Mark Munoz. Did a camp with him.
Oh,
That was a
I
lot of
know
fun.
Munoz. I know Munoz.
Tough camp. Tough camp. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, my on the last, I'm telling you, the last 30 seconds after a 3 day camp, my son shot and literally just dislocated his shoulder because he shot in a little deep. I think he hit his shoulder on his hip. So it dislocated his shoulder at
Oof,
the last, I'm telling you, the last 60 seconds of camp. It was the last live match of the day, and we were done.
that'll do it. God darn it.
Heartbreaker. And then COVID hit, so didn't get to wrestle sophomore, junior year much. But here we are, senior year. He's getting ready to hit it hard. So yeah, but would love to hear more about your camps, or if you're ever coming out to California. Talk about the Firebird Army. This is new for you.
Okay. Well, back to the. Let me think. California. California wrestling's tough. I mean, you got to be tough to be a state champ in California. I had a guy help me out when I was in Michigan from California, and the kids were all like, "You a state champ? You a state champ?" He's like, "No, I didn't qualify for states. I took fifth at Masters." Oh man, you're not that good. I said, "Hey guys, Masters has 500 schools in it. He took fifth. All right, so he's freaking good, man." So but okay, okay. So Firebird, I just moved here. This is my little apartment. I just moved to Houston, Texas, Spring, Texas, and I joined forces with Jeff Fellows. We're going to be called Firebird, Firebird Training Center, FTC. We've got an old church, but it's a new building, freestanding building. It's just fantastic. We just built all the wall mats. We've done about 4 practices. Our new mats are coming in next month. So long story short, we're going to have a rookie division, which is like 5-year old and under, which is a tough one. That's kind of a funsy onesie deal. But then I have novice, anybody who's brand new and a little older that can at least understand. Well, actually, I still whip 5-year-olds butts, but if you're an 8th grader and you're brand new, I'm not putting you with the 5-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so we're having a rookie, novice, advanced, and then a high school division. And I think it's going to get so big because, my gosh, Jason, out here, there's 31 schools. I repeat, 31 high schools in a 25-minute radius.
Woo.
Everywhere I turn to the high school and a middle school. So we're starting to build it right now. The word's out. We're getting kids coming in. It's going to be fun. But I seriously have never been so excited in my life right now. What's going on right now?
Now, was this always kind of the goal? Is this what you were always working towards,
I,
or was this just an opportunity that presented itself?
Well, I knew I was going to move eventually, and the last 2 years have been just fantastic. Doing the whole tour, like pretty much year round. I mean, I'm happily divorced with 4 kids, and my kids are all older. And I was home for like maybe a month out of the year for the last 2 years.
Hmm.
Right, so I really do love traveling. I love I love what I do, but I've had many people offer, "Hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" But Jeff Fellows and I met last year, and he's a master motivator. He's a master planner, and we did about 8 camps together. Where he comes in, he's got a DJ booth going on, basically smoking this and then. We do a dual meet, and he added to my camps so much. I was like, "This is incredible." It was incredible. And then he said he was joking around about moving down. I said, "Hey, I'll move right now. Don't tempt me." And I moved down here, and he got the church, and it's huge, and we're gonna kill it.
Nice, very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, cool.
What's your take? High school wrestling, college level wrestling, and then coming down and teaching 5-year-olds. Teaching the youth.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what inspires you to work with the youth and coach
Uh,
wrestling to them?
Here's the deal. Well, I coached high school for the first, I don't know, 10, 12 years of my career. And then I'm a construction guy by trade, a construction degree, and I was always getting off at 3:30, so I could make the high school practice. But one year I wrote loans, mortgages for a year, which was horrible. But I got sorry to write loans, but I couldn't make it to practice, so I kept coming late, and there's also these little kids were coming at night, and I'm like, "I'll coach these midgets," so it's fun. So I got a kick out of it. And one lady's like, "Why don't you coach our club?" I was like, "Sure, I'll do that." And I got into it, and then I learned real quick it's different because everyone's staring at you, but no one's paying attention.
You got about 3 to 4 minutes to have their attention, right?
I'm glad you said that. That's why I've done every major coaching thing there is, and I tell the guys They don't care who you are. They don't care what you're doing. They want to see a couple parts of the move, and they want to get busy. I can
That's
break
it.
down a double, I can break down a double leg for half an hour, but I lost them 27 minutes ago.
Get them moving in 30 seconds or less. That's it.
Totally, man, totally.
So what is your goal now with this program, and what is your goal for your athletes?
The goal, obviously, during the season is state champ. My goal is to put Houston wrestling on the national map big time. Again, there's 31 high school guys in the area, and you know how sometimes egos and drama gets in the way of things. I'm coming in like, hey, I'm here to help you. Now I'm not gonna. I'm here to help. So if they want help, or if I can help, because I mean I know a thing or two here. I'm more than happy to come to your place during the week and do your practice, or do it with you, or whatever.
Hmm.
And have my facility open on Sundays for live wrestling, and I'm doing 4 nights a week for high school from 7 to 8:30 at night. I mean, I realize people aren't going to want to do doubles every day, but I'll be there. I'll be there, man. And so my goal is to have Houston wrestling be just like, whoa, what's going on in Houston? What's going on in Houston? What's going on?
Mike Krause is in Houston. That's what's going on.
I mean, that's it. That's the goal.
So now, what's your advice to young wrestlers getting ready to wrestle in high school?
Well,
What are some tips for them to get ready?
yeah, yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. When I was in high school, I went through my manly man change about my junior year. Now kids mostly are going through puberty in like 8th grade. I've seen some 7th graders. I'm like, you're in 7th grade. We see your ID, kid. If you
Yeah.
start your man change, hit the weights, man. You gotta get strong. That's getting strong is a good thing. But go into high school with a good attitude. I mean, obviously, I sent a bunch of guys back in Michigan into their 9th grade year with the skill set to win state titles. And that's really the goal. But I always tell kids, I hope you get a 3rd and 3 titles, so that 3rd place makes you pissed off that you try harder.
Right, right. But
The goal is,
attitude's the key, right? I mean, having the right attitude going into any activities, any sport,
yeah,
and here we are, 2022. I think that we could both agree that the general attitude of children in general might be slightly different than when you
oh,
grew up.
man.
And
Yeah, here's the thing. I think it's certain pockets of certain areas, because I mean, here's the deal. I wrestled in college in the 80s, and it was fist fighting, going out and killing people. We were just like a pack of wolves prowling the area. You know what I'm saying? It was a different setup. We were different people, I think. And I'll tell you a quick story. I did a class the other day, and it was a what do you call it, man? It's a workout. What do you call that? It's the deadlifting and kettlebells. Why am I breaking
CrossFit.
up? CrossFit. It's CrossFit. Thank you. CrossFit class. And I was there because one of my wrestlers was there, and the coach was doing a great thing. One of the kids, all we were doing is learning how to do the actual motions of the lifts. We were doing lifting really weight.
Right.
The kid had to take a break. A couple kids had to take breaks. I was like, whoa, dude. One kid had to go to the bathroom. He said he had to throw up. I'm like, are you kidding? I said to the coach, and this guy had to be all prim and proper and politically correct. The real coach. I told the kid, hey, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Get back here. And the guy's like, he kind of was like, go ahead, get him, Krause, because I don't give a rip. What are you gonna do? Yell at me? But I saw some serious softness right there, and it might have been just those kids, but that's what I see sometimes where I'm like, wow, man, just let me yell at your kid. Anyway,
Well, you mentioned earlier briefly, real quick, and it caught my ear is that you were in construction, right? And construction is tough work. My father was in construction, custom homes built all my life. I spent so much time on a job site, and I hated it. I
yeah,
absolutely hated it, just so you know. But
right.
man, you can't be soft. You
No,
can't. We're digging ditches. We're carrying lumber. We're this that. We're moving. It's physical. There's no
yeah,
time for breaks. Like there's a job to do. And so for me, that's kind of where I got it. I got that work ethic from my dad. And
yeah.
we see those kids. Oh, I need a water break. I need to sit down. And it's like you need to work. Is what you need to do. You need to work.
And you know as well as I do, those old guys will eat you for lunch on a
Well,
construction site. They will they will eat you alive if you're a puss. You're done, man.
My dad is almost 70 years old, and I
Yeah,
think he still outworks anybody I know on the
right.
job site. You just
I I
freaking
did
go.
I, I did mall store demolition and I did mall store fixture packages. And the story that I tell kids, I have like three stories about having superpowers because of wrestling. And I tell these guys, I think I was about 27, and I was doing a demolition job, and it was the sixth day of a tough job and 6 days of ripping down steel studs, drywall, acoustical ceilings, and fixture and everything, and hauling it a mile. I'm talking a mile out to the dumpster at the edge of the mall parking lot. Day 6, I had these two guys that worked for me. They were dying. They're like, Krause, we need a break. We need a break. I was like, hey, man, 20 minutes. It's 9:10. 20 minutes is break time. Krause, we need a break right now. And I tell the kids, I was pushing these big gondola. I was all sweaty. I go, it's just like I was at wrestling practice. I was actually having fun. And in fact, to be really weird about it, I was envisioning that I was Conan the Barbarian, and I was pushing this part like I was just being tough. And the one guy goes, Krause, we need a break right now. We need a break right now. And I go, why? They go, because we're not like you, man. I was like, I go, wow. And I tell the kids, I say, I didn't tease him, man. I didn't tease him because I'm a leader, not a teaser. But I was like, it hit me. The guy just crumbled and said, we're not like you, man. And I was like, wow, I guess you're not. And I didn't even try to break him. I was working normally. I thought
Yeah.
it was unbelievable.
Craziness, right? Craziness. Well, now, how about some advice for high school wrestlers that are thinking about considering, moving to the college level? What's the
Okay.
biggest difference between high school wrestling and college level wrestling?
Okay, here's the deal. You're wrestling grown men in college. And one of the biggest things you'll find is, in high school, getting out, technique wise, getting off the bottom is pretty simple in high school. Getting off the bottom in college, you might not get off the bottom for your whole freshman year. If these guys ride you like you're a bike. So my advice is, if you think about going to college, get in a room full of guys that are college level and start kind of weed yourself into it. Your senior year, seek out a room that's got some tough dudes in it and start getting your beat down. Like, for instance, I was Ryan Trella. He's a highly decorated three-time All-American from Michigan, and his dad's a three-time national champ. Anyway, he recruited me to be his workout partner his senior year in high school. And so Ryan and I worked out every single day. I was about 30 pounds heavier than he was, and I had to pack a lunch to beat him. But I mean, I tell you what, I throttled him and gave him the college beatdown as much as I could, and he transitioned to college like a champion.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Next question regarding coaches and
Yep.
coaching. What is your advice to coaches to get the most out of their athletes?
Here's the deal, man. I can do I do a lot of videos, but this one here has been killing me lately. Drilling. I watch people. I even watch high level guys drill as being the partner. Now I know in jiu-jitsu, you guys drill techniques, but when in wrestling we drill techniques, there's simple rules. If someone grabs your shoulders, don't just act. People think when you're the drilling partner, you're just like a dead limp. You're just like a scarecrow. It's not what you do. You're not a scarecrow. You don't just sit there. If they grab your legs, they never bend. You bend over. You wrap your arm around the guy's body. You make it seem semi-real. It's amazing to me that some programs do not know how to drill. I have my brand in about 2 months. I've got brand new kids drilling better than I see some high school defending all staters. So you've got to learn how to drill. I mean, and when I see these coaches showing technique, like the guy that they're wrestling against is going to stand still for 1 or 2 seconds. Do jiu-jitsu guys stand still for 1 or 2 seconds? No one stands still.
Nope.
You got to anticipate the other guy moving. So when you're doing drills, you got to have the guy who's the drill E move and do what he would normally do in a match. So that's how you get better faster. I mean, I see some really crappy drilling, and I'm like, you're both getting worse. You're both getting worse right now.
Yeah, well, practicing the wrong technique only helps you get worse, right?
The wrong technique and wrong lead. Wrong technique and wrong lead. Double wrong.
Yeah.
I've seen
Where
it.
people that are watching this, I know you do a lot of videos on drilling and coaching and motivation. Where can people find all that information?
Well, my Facebook page has a bunch of them. I got a whole bunch of my coaching talks in there. I do have my own personal website, MikeKrauseWrestling.com, but I'm switching over. Here's what we're going to do at Firebird Training Center. My gosh, we're hooking it up. We're going to figure out a price point, but here's the deal. Like we said earlier, it's invaluable for coaches to watch other coaches coach. It really is. I love watching other coaches coach. Sometimes I think, well, that guy can really coach. Sometimes I think, well, I can really coach. This guy's horrible, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway, my coach Goodale from Rutgers, he's awesome. I've done a camp with him. He's doing a coaching clinic where they're actually going to coach a practice. He's going to coach his college guys in front of a bunch of coaches. Perfect. That's a coaching clinic. A
Mm-hmm.
technique clinic is just me saying, "Hey, here's some technique." So so what we're doing at Firebird is we have two cameras, one on the middle of the mat where I'm going to be actually showing technique, and one in the whole room. So you can tune in twice a week, or just watch a whole uncut practice. That's
Wow.
gold right there
Yeah.
for new guys, and for older guys. Because I run a tight ship. I really do. And I'll say it again. I'm getting all fired up. Like Frank Papalizio said, Frank said, "How's it feel to be able to run the room like this?" And I said, "It feels pretty good, dude.
Yeah.
It feels pretty good."
Yeah, well, you brought up the point. You learn by watching other people. You learn what to do, and you
Right?
learn what not to do. Right? I mean, you can learn no matter what. And what you're saying here too, regarding coaches, athletes. I mean, everybody. Continued education, continued growth is very important.
Oh, dude, Jason, I've watched something. I do something. I just okay. Half the techniques I show were not around 88. You know what I'm saying? I'm evolving. When I do these camps at clinics and I do camps with Burroughs and Taylor and Dake and they're showing their techniques, I got my notepad out. I'm like,
Hmm.
all right, okay. Like I'll show the Burroughs double. Everyone's like, it's different than the old school big penetration step up, step across. He lunges to the calves and then steps up, runs to the right. It's all new. It's all new stuff. And some coaches are like, "Where'd you learn that?" And I'm like, "Oh my!" And then they say, "That'll never work." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" You know, dinosaur technique still works, but you got to know what the really good guys are going to do nowadays. And all this funk roll, different stuff that wasn't around. That no one's doing the old school stand up anymore in college. They're all expecting a chop and they're rotating in and doing like a baby stand up. And I'll show that, and guys are like, "Oh, that'll never work." And I'm like, "Oh my god, watch a college match."
Yeah. So who do you look to, and uh, who inspires you as a coach?
Inspires me as well, I'm my own guy as far as the techniques and the way I coach. But I turn to Kerry Collette, but his techniques are just off the charts. I've done a couple camps with him. And I'm like, go Kerry, go. I mean, Zeke Jones. When Zeke Jones speaks, everyone better shut up. John Smith. I do camps one camp a year with him every year. And when John talks, I listen, and it's fun watching John Smith coach the kids because he coaches them like a good old Oklahoma dad would. Like, you got to get better, son. And he just gives them the business. And I'm like, it was great. He's good. He's awesome. His assistant coach Zach Esposito shows technique. You got to watch Zach and his son Joseph. When I do camps with these guys, I'm watching any high level college guy. I'll watch them. Sometimes you know as well as I do, you can be a 3-time national something whatever and still can't coach with a lick. But
Right. That's
I'll
right.
still watch the technique.
Last question.
Right.
How do you keep your body from, you know, how do you keep your body moving? Because you're still a young guy, right? But you're not as young as you once were. And you're still out there rolling. You're still out there working. How do you keep your body healthy, and how do you keep yourself from breaking down too quickly?
If you can see it right there, over there you go. That's my kitchen. It's like a GNC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my daily routine. I got all my proteins. I got you name it. I got it. Zinc, this, that, pre-workout, post-workout, during workout. I don't drink any beers anymore, so that helps a whole ton. Big time. And that's flat out. I just work out. I just got done working out this morning a little bit, and I just wrestled hard. But I actually I'm 53. I just wrestled hard yesterday and today, and in the morning I felt great. My neck felt better. I got a permanent kink in my neck. My lower
Mhm.
back, of course, feels like someone hit me with a 2x4, but that's just part of the part of being who you are.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and as long as you keep moving, right? Keep
yeah,
keeping moving. A good healthy diet. Good supplements, making sure you're getting everything
yeah.
you need to keep your body moving. No, that's great. Good advice. Well, listen, this has been a great just getting to know you a little bit and talking about your experience and your stories. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. And if you hang out for just about 60 seconds, I'll be right back. In the green room, as we call it, and we'll have a quick post chat. So, guys, thank you everybody for tuning in today and watching with us with Coach Mike Krause. Go and check out his website. We'll put some information in the comments as well. And if you have any questions, drop those in the comments, and we'll get back to you as well. Next week, we got Mr. Brett Wagner, Big Swag, coming up on
Swag.
next
That's it.
Wednesday. It's going to be a good show. So, guys, typically every Monday we're here at 12 o'clock and filling in some more dates booked all the way through 2023. Lots of great guests coming up. So, thank you again, Mike Krause. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Get back.
All right. See ya.